Welcome everyone, my name is Benjamin Baker. I'm the executive chef at Miraval Austin Resort and Spa. And today I'm in the Maiden Studios and we are going to make a wonderful dish for you, lamb shakshuka. Now shakshuka originally is a North African dish. It's a signature blend of tomatoes and peppers along with some aromatics. In this case, we're gonna change up the original format, shakshuka being mostly your red tomato sauce with some eggs baked into it. In this case, we're gonna go ahead and add some wonderful lamb to the dish. First, we're gonna cut our vegetables. Woo, beautiful knife. A nice even dice going all the way through. These wonderful Maiden knives are extremely sharp. Very good. We'll go ahead and transfer my onions over to a bowl. All right, so here we go with the red pepper. I like to work around the seed whenever possible. So you'll notice with the pepper always has these little ribs going around. So if you can cut just on the outside of where the ribs fit into the stem, you can save yourself all the hassle of getting seeds all over your cutting board. All right, we'll move these into the bowl as well. Next up, we have some plum tomatoes, and we're just gonna go ahead and cut right around the core, and I'm just gonna cut these into little strips. So we're just gonna finish dicing these up, and then we're gonna move over and start browning the lamb. So we have our stainless Clad pan, and it is heating up on medium high because we're gonna get our lamb into this pan, and we really want to caramelize that lamb and get some of that browning going. I like using stainless Clad cookware because it is so easy to use. You have this nice cool to touch handle. It doesn't conduct the heat as quickly. It has these really high sides and then this wonderful flat, even surface area for even browning. Now this is Texas Dorper lamb, and what makes Texas Dorper lamb so fantastic is the fact that they do not produce wool. And since they don't produce wool, they don't produce lanolin. And it's the lack of lanolin that gives it a nice, clean flavor. And what we're trying to do here is just render some of the fat. These are some nice lamb leg stew chunks. And we're just gonna move them around and get some of that fat rendering. So now that everything's nice and hot, I'm just gonna let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'll move it again, let it sit for a few minutes, and this entire process should take about 4 to 5 minutes. Now we're going to transfer this lamb over to our bowl just to hold for a few moments. We wanna make sure that we leave all of the fat that has rendered off of these stew cubes in the pan, because we are going to use that to toast up our spices and to saute our aromatics. We have some spices here. I have some caraway, some cumin, and some smoked paprika. We're gonna quickly go in with the caraway first and just let those seeds toast. It pairs with the lamb perfectly, and it will also play off the cumin and the smoked paprika very, very well. It's all going to sing together. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with our aromatics. First, I'm gonna add the onions. We go with the onions first because they're gonna help cool down the pan just a little bit. Then we'll follow with our garlic. And the reason why we wanted to cool down the pan is so our garlic doesn't burn the second it hits the surface. Right now I'm cooking at a medium-high heat because I'm really trying to get everything to start browning, and then once I get everything moving, I can reduce my temperature to a medium-low. The moisture that renders from the onions and the peppers is going to help deglaze the pan. So any of the little bits that want to stick to the bottom of the pan in terms of spices or garlic, just keep everything moving and really get all these flavors infusing together. Once we feel like we've achieved that, then we can follow in with our tomatoes. Now these tomatoes are also going to help deglaze the pan because all the juices that are going to render out, it's going to make sure that all those little toasty bits get picked up and mixed back into the dish without burning. Now that we got everything working, all these flavors are mingling together. Now's the perfect time to add our browned lamb. So we go in with our lamb. It's starting to get a little tighter in here. So we're gonna go very slow. Just kind of move it around a little bit, let everything mingle together. So now we're at the stage where we're ready to set this for its final cook. We have some stock and some tomato puree and a little bit of salt. And then we'll just slowly mix that in together. Go in with our tomato puree. And then lastly, we're going to add our stock. It's really important that we add the stock because the stock is going to facilitate the long cooking time. Because this tomato puree is a little bit thick, if we just left it on the fire as is, it would burn by the time we come back to it. So we're adding a little bit additional moisture, and a lot of that water is going to cook off, and it will reduce all the way down till it's about the same consistency as it was when we put the tomato puree in. But what that's going to allow is for all that moist heat to cook down our lamb stew cubes and make them nice and tender. And here we go. This is the lamb shakshuka base. So we're gonna set this on a nice simmer. It's gonna cook about 50 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up. And then when we come back to it, we can proceed with the next steps in our shakshuka. I've checked on it just a few times just to make sure nothing was sticking on the bottom. And here we are right at the stage where we are ready for our next steps. And what I'm gonna do here is just add some of this beautiful kale chiffonade. And we're just gonna fold it right into our shakshuka mixture. Now the next step, in true shakshuka fashion, is adding our eggs. Now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a couple little wells, or 4 little wells to place our eggs. Just be very careful when cracking the egg so you're not getting any shell into the mixture. So once we have our eggs in our shakshuka, we're gonna go ahead and put the lid right back on. That's gonna help us develop a little bit of steam heat, and it's going to cook the top of the eggs just a little bit. I like my eggs cooked to medium in the shakshuka. I don't like to go too hard because I really do want a little bit of that runny yolk to break and mix in with the dish. All right, it's been about 4.5 minutes and we are ready to remove this from the heat. That's beautiful. So you want to make sure that your eggs are set up. You know, everyone likes their yolks done a little bit differently, but the key here is just making sure that all of the whites of the eggs, the albumin, is cooked through, just like a poached egg essentially. In this case, these eggs are looking really nice. Now we are ready to serve. You want to make sure you get one of these eggs in every little portion. So I'm just going to build up a little bit of a base right here with some of this delicious lamb and all this wonderful red pepper, tomato, caraway sauce. And this yolk is cooked right about to a medium, so it's going to run really nicely when I break this open. We're going to garnish it with a little bit of fresh cilantro and some Italian parsley. And now for the moment of truth. We're gonna cut right into this egg and really get some of that yolk to run. Make sure we get a nice scoop of that lamb. That is fantastic. Just really getting right in there, letting the yolk run all through the tomato sauce. It really helps develop a richness in that sauce. You get the caraway, the red peppers, all that wonderful tomato puree flavor that's just been reduced down and have all that wonderful tomato flavor concentrated. And then you got this wonderful tender lamb that's not gamey at all, and it's just a fantastic introductory dish. If you've never tried shakshuka before, I really recommend trying out this recipe. Once again, my name is Benjamin Baker, the executive chef at Miraval Austin's Resort and Spa. You can find these recipes in our cookbook, Recipes for a Life in Balance. Come see us next time you're in the Austin Hill Country.